everybody. I'm Debbie Stromer. I am a licensed colon hydrotherapist here at Boca Colonics in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm about to give PJ a colonic session, and I'm going to explain a little bit about the process and how that works. So we have a machine here. It's called a closed system, and everything is contained within a disposable tubing system. So as you can see, this is sterile, only used once. There's a small speculum that gets inserted into the client's rectum, just a couple of inches. And at the end of that, there would be a waste hose that's attached, and then there's also a fresh water hose that's attached to the side of the speculum that goes inside the client, just a couple of inches. The water that we use is filtered 3 different times, so it's actually safe to drink. And the process is about 45 to 50 minutes long. So what it entails is gently filling up with warm, purified water to whatever the client's able to take. So sometimes they can only take in a little bit, and then when they feel full or they get that urge that they have to release and use the restroom, I release that, and everything that needs to come out, the contents come out through here, okay, in this viewing tube here.
What is the max amount of fluid that will go in?
So, I would say during a session, because what happens when you're releasing, there's water that's circulating and flushing. During a session, we can go through anywhere from 15 to 20 gallons of water, okay, which is a lot. But the majority of what that is actually what is flushing. Okay. So maybe during a fill, you're taking 32 ounces or even more. It just depends. Of course, as we start to fill you up and release each time, the next few fills, you should most likely be able to take more water in, right? Which would make sense. And then as more stuff releases, then you'll get even more water in. So during a colonic, I do recommend a good series of these. Typically 6 is ideal. That would be maybe once or twice a week. Some people do it once and they feel great, and that's fine, but I do find that when people do it cumulatively, it works best that way. Okay. So
twice a week would be ideal in the beginning?
If possible, yeah. And, depending on schedule, some people only can make it in once a week. And then after that, maintenance is important because, of course, we're always eating and things are reaccumulating. So maintenance could be different for you than it is for me. I have some people who come monthly. I have some people who come every 2-3 months, quarterly. As the seasons change, I have some people who come twice a year. It just depends on, how you feel. And once people get their insides cleaned out, you kind of have a baseline for how you know what feels good and how you feel clean. And so as you start to feel, sometimes people feel, oh, I feel like I'm getting bloated again, it's time to come in. So you can kind of play it by ear that way too. Okay. But
I have a question. The day that you do this, so like at this point, I haven't eaten anything, and I cut my water out over an hour ago.
Okay.
So would somebody that does this, are they able to go work out after? Are there things they need to expect after they do this?
You're free to go on with the rest of your day. You should be fine to work out. However, keep in mind that you might have more releases later on. That is possible. If sometimes people don't get everything out here, and it comes out later on in the day where they have that natural feeling, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. So just pay attention to that. I usually suggest people not doing something like yoga right after, because you're in weird poses. You don't want to have a situation, but other than that, you're totally fine to go on with the rest of your day.
And you can eat the same way you always would. You have to be prepared for eating lighter, or can you eat more?
I mean, honestly, I know you guys eat wonderful. I know you guys eat healthy, but obviously the healthier you can eat leading, like even after, even if you're into juicing or green smoothies or salads, that kind of stuff will obviously be even more beneficial for your session results that you're looking for.
Good. All right, so what do I do now?
Okay, so what we're going to do is I gave you a gown. I think it's out there. Okay. And you're going to empty your bladder, and then change into the gown, take everything off, and then you're going to put the opening in the back. And then you're going to come out here. I'm going to get this set up while you're in the bathroom.
Okay.
And then we'll get started. So,
all right.
Okay?
Okay, let's do it.
So here we are. We're about to get started with the colonic. And what I'm going to do is gently start filling you up with water, okay? So what we had going on was the water was circulating, going in and coming out, just kind of getting your body familiar with the temperature of the water, which is going to be about body temperature. So you're going to just let me know when you feel like you need to release that. Let me know what your comfort level is. You know, you might not be able to take a whole lot in the beginning. It might feel full, especially if it hits a little gas pocket.
Should I try hard to take
Just try to take in what you can. And also what I do, my method is kind of filling up a little bit slower in the beginning, soaking a little bit, let it just kind of, you know, get in there. And then it's kind of like, you know, when you have pots and pans and you have to soak them overnight, right? So you can't just like rinse it with water, right? So that's what we're doing. We're soaking that old hard stuff so that it will come off. If you just rinse it really quick, it's not all going to loosen up. That's why it takes, you know, this process in here is about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we'll try to get out as much as we can, but you know, keep in mind your colon is anywhere from 5 to 6 feet long. So depending on how much stuff is in there will determine how far and how deep our reach will be today.
Okay.
And so a lot of times we might only get the first 1 or 2 feet. So just something to keep in mind.
Trying to get all sick, Terry.
So you feeling okay with this water so far? But you feel it going in,
I definitely feel it.
Okay, good.
It's familiar.
I heard you screaming. No, I heard no noise. So you're a veteran.
Yeah.
There you go.
I definitely start feeling like
it's
in here.
You're gonna start to feel your tummy kind of distend.
Yep, that's what I'm feeling a little bit now.
Like you could be a couple months pregnant.
It's not uncomfortable though. It just feels.
It's okay. You're doing fine.
Feel anything going on?
Yeah, it's like pressure in here. Like it feels like a little bit of like palumboism going on in here. Just distended. It feels like it's filled with water. That's what it feels like.
I think actually at this point, I would like to release this from you. Something to keep in mind, usually it takes 3-4 times filling up and releasing from the average person before I even get anything out, okay? So a lot of times we don't see a whole lot. And so what this is also doing, it's stimulating the natural peristalsis in your large intestine and small intestine. That's the wave-like movement that helps move the waste out of your body. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you notice the water starting to change a little bit yellow. That tends to be from our liver. Everybody's liver has to release. It ends up going into the colon. So that's like the bile and everything that your body's processed. So what's great about this is it's actually helping to clean your liver.
Great.
A lot of times our body reabsorbs this back into our system when we're not having regular releases like we should be. Ideally, we need to have 3 bowel movements a day, as you probably already know that. But most of the time I see people come in here, they're often lucky to go once a day.
Yeah.
And even if you go once a day, it doesn't mean it's full and complete, right?
Yeah, before I started the crash dieting, I was going probably a good like 5 times a day.
Okay.
And then it got to a point where I would go like 2 or 3 times in the early part of the day. And now I'm only going once a day in the morning, like when I wake up, like I have my cup of coffee and then I go to the bathroom.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel like I'm like emptying myself the way that I should.
Right. And so what's happening too with the coffee, you realize that's a laxative, right? So over time, people that drink a lot of coffee, their bodies become dependent on that laxative and won't go without it. And you also know that coffee's dehydrating, so you need twice the amount of water to make up for that water dehydration. So if you see me working on your leg, it's because I am working on different acupuncture points for you. So to help stimulate that, I actually went to school for that.
Oh,
so
cool.
I know all the points that help to stimulate your release. And in just a little bit, I'll probably put some more water back in.
Okay.
This is, like I said, just the beginning. And eventually, when people start to really have releases, then it gets a lot more darker. Okay?
Are there any colors that are indicator of something like bad going on?
Yes, if it's very orange, then that can definitely be pancreatic issues. If it's very golden, you know how we saw some of the liver stuff come out, which your color looked fine, but often when it's like a golden color, very deep and rich, it can indicate that the liver is really stressed. It could be, you know, even someone with liver cancer. And obviously, we don't say any claims in here.
Of course.
I always tell people to check things out. And sometimes, if they drink, I can tell when people drink alcohol the night before. Even just a glass may show up, because, you know, most people when they eat or drink something, they never think about how that impacts their body even the next day. And of course, I can see that, but I've been able to tell someone, you know, I could tell he was an alcoholic just through his colonic.
Wow.
So, doesn't lie, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Are you able to tell where it's at? Do you feel it, or is it just more of an overall full feeling?
I mean, it's more, I feel the most full, like, through here.
Yeah.
But I can still feel it up in here also.
Okay, good. So we know, I kind of can tell it's going up a little bit deeper. And right now, because the water temperature is about body temperature, it's a little bit more harder for you to be able to tell specifically where it's at. When I cool it down a little bit, which I will, you're going to be able to tell it, because you're going to feel more of that contrast with the water, right?
Yeah, now I really feel it up here now.
Okay, good. So we're going to release this. Take a look. Okay, great. So we're seeing some of these pieces that get caught up in the pockets of our colon.
Almost like a shrimp.
There you go. All right. So I'm going to just walk around here so I can massage your tummy.
Okay.
So.
It's weird. You see the color of the water change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that was his second release. So but you notice how it got a little bit darker.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to see. It's going to progressively get a little bit deeper. I can tell this is actually very good for your liver. Here comes another piece coming out. So there's a little bit of mucus on there, which is very normal. Everybody has a certain amount. Our intestines are lined with a mucosa layer, right? So every 3 or 4 days, that's supposed to shed. But sometimes, you know, people eat mucus-forming diets, which I'm not seeing that really so much with you, of course. So, but when people are consuming dairy, for example, like cheese, it's very mucus-forming, or even foods that people are allergic to, or carbs, that can be mucus-forming. So we'll see more of that with those individuals. We'll see a lot more mucus coming out. Or even if somebody's sick, you know, if someone has a sinus infection or a cold, that tends to drain down into the GI tract, and then we'll see that come out too. For women to take care of themselves during the pregnancy, and of course after, it can take at least a good year for a woman's body to get back on track, and that's why their digestion is so not quite where it used to be. I see that all the time with women, and of course traditional medicine doesn't acknowledge that whole conversation I just had. They don't even see it like that. So
that's good information. So I'll make sure that we get as many women watching this as possible. I think women handle stress much differently too, and I think that that's an issue also.
Totally. And then another thing is, like I just explained to you about the yin deficiency with the woman and the stress after birth, and then it's very draining on the kidneys, and that has a lot to do with our ability as women to handle stress. And when you're stressed out, that majorly affects and taxes the spleen in Chinese medicine. The spleen's job in Chinese medicine is to actually, when you take food, when you eat food, it basically is what separates the good from the bad. So it knows what is to be utilized, what vitamins and minerals you need to be absorbed, and what is the waste product to be released. So when you're overtaxing your body, when you're stressed out, then a lot of, and you see that with students, especially like, let's say law students, or when I went to school for Chinese medicine, most of us all were spleen deficient, because you're overstudying, you're overthinking, that stresses out, and then your digestive system isn't working as right either. So we were all on herbs.
That's okay.
Has most of the action happened already?
No, a lot of times people get even more out at the end. So he's a little different too, because I haven't had to fill you up as many times, like filling up and releasing. The average person coming in here has to do a lot of fills and releases, but you're doing really, really well. So it's just everyone's different, and sometimes every session's different. Sometimes people hold on to some of the water if they're dehydrated, and then maybe they'll have their releases later on in the day. All right, so I feel a lot of the water's still within you, but it's just a matter of time for it to kind of work its way out, which it is. So what's really good, even though we know you eat really well and we know you work out, a lot of people don't work out, and that's a big reason why they're constipated too. So just even moving, and it moves the chi, that helps to get everything moving in your system. So where I'm at right here, this is called the splenic flexure, and a lot of stuff gets caught up there where it turns to the descending colon, so a lot of people get backed up in that area.
Yeah, I've heard people say they have pressure like on one side or something.
Yeah, and sometimes it's also gas. So people can get pain up here, and also gas pain can feel worse than actually being impacted, because it's so uncomfortable. And I have a lot of clients like, I had to go to the ER over the weekend, and then they do an x-ray and it's just gas.
I had my mom.
And they can see all the fecal matter in there. It's like, you should just come and got a colonic, you'd feel better.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. But I have people that went to the ER and they gave them an enema, which did nothing.
Yeah.
Are you noticing like a little bit lighter inside?
I still have a very strong urge to go to the bathroom.
So we know that means there's still a bunch of stuff there
Yeah.
that wants to come out. And so any discomfort that you feel, I always remind clients, like, it's just temporary.
Yep.
It's because right now you can see your body is about to have another release. So the thing with colonics, it doesn't all come out at once.
Yep.
It comes out, sometimes a lot, and then a little bit, and then you don't see a lot for a little, bit of time. So
How often do you have to change the machine?
Well, I don't change the machine, but I have to change. I just had the filters changed the other night,
That's
so we
good.
do
So
that.
they have a long lifespan?
I change the filters every couple months because I go through, so many people, and
Yep.
I want to make certain that the water is clean, of course, and that stuff doesn't accumulate. And then sometimes, like, I just had my maintenance guy the other night come over, and he changed out a few pieces on the inside, tightened some stuff up. So stuff that I definitely don't want to do.
Yeah.
So the first place we rot and decompose is in our large intestines. I've had a couple of morticians in here, and I always ask people what made them interested in getting colonics, and both of them have said because every dead body we see, pretty much their colon is so full of so much impacted waste, it made them start to think about themselves.
Wow.
So this is the first place, like, even when we're alive, we're actually starting to have that breakdown process of rotting and decomposing.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds gross, but it makes
it's true,
sense,
yeah,
right?
it's
This
true.
is our sewage system of our body. Makes sense. My first colonic, I had 5 pounds come out.
Wow.
So, and I have people who, I lost 7 pounds, my first colonic. Even people looking to lose weight, it makes sense, and we don't ever sell this as a weight loss thing because we have to be so careful
Of
about
course.
making claims about anything. But it does make sense because if you are looking to lose weight, you need to look at your health first. And just cleansing, are you ready
Yeah.
to release? Cleansing your insides is going to make such a huge impact because it's going to help increase the function of the rest of the body, because it's not like every organ in your body, they're all connected. You know, even though Western medicine views your heart is your heart, your liver is your liver, your colon is your colon. But, you know, in Eastern medicine, as we were talking about earlier, your whole body is a whole system. And so if one thing is off, it's going to, like, especially your colon, if that's off, your whole liver, even your kidneys are going to get stressed out.
Yeah.
Because that's going to have to increase to work harder to filter out all that stuff. Also, you know, because you are going to absorb water from this session, which is very normal, you may find yourself needing to urinate a little bit extra today.
Yeah, actually,
so,
I keep now.
I was going to say. So we're going to take you off in just a moment when I think that you are okay to make it to the bathroom. There's another release about to happen. Are you feeling okay if I start to wrap this up to send you to the bathroom? Because I know once you sit down, you're going to get more stuff out.
Yeah,
I know there's more in there, but for you at this moment, being able just to sit on the bathroom or in the toilet, be able to release, I think that's what we'll do, okay?
Perfect.
Bring PJ up right now. Tristan's been waiting. He hasn't eaten. No water.
Very hungry, very thirsty.
He has no idea what's about to happen. At one point, I was in there. So I'm sitting in there basically looking at a machine that has a little tube with your doo-doo flowing through it. So a couple times, like, I could feel... Huh?
Are there 2 tubes?
I don't know exactly. Still, when they insert it and whatever, I'm out of the room, but you're just laying there on the bed. You're just laying there. And at certain points, you know, you can see the water's like clear and it goes to like... It changes color, so you know something's about to happen, and then you see the doo-doo flying through there. But a couple times, like,
a lot of doo-doo stuck in
I
here.
can feel, like, in my throat, like, you know, like your nauseous feeling, like my mouth filling up with saliva. So
I'm getting that right now.
yeah, basically, it's weird because, you know, when you go to the bathroom, you can look at your own stuff, but you walk into, say, a public bathroom and someone leaves a floater in there, you're like, ah! Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know. After a
Seeing
while,
someone else's doo-doo is not the same seeing your own doo-doo.
yeah.
And he's smiling.
That was like a lot more than I expected.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, I did this once like 10 years ago, maybe a little more than that, and nothing really happened. But back then, I was like probably the healthiest of my life, and I was pooping like 5-6 times every day. And so now, I think a lot of it is from stress and everything else, and how I wrecked my body all of last year. Like, I really only poop like once a day now. It sucks in the morning, and that's even with the Metamucil. And like, dude, we had stuff coming out the whole time. Trevor was videotaping it.
My throat, like I was getting that, you know, that liquid, like when you're going to be nauseous, like your saliva starts to, it's like,
It's part of Ascension Wellness, and it's 1612 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard, number 5.
Yeah, she's really good. You know me, I'm critical of people, but everybody, if you're at this point in the video, you already met Debbie. What's her title called?
oh, colon hydrotherapy.
Colon hydrotherapist.
Yes.
And we now know that she has an extensive background in Chinese medicine,
Which is good.
Which is very, very good.
Some
Also
people
good to know.
aren't like too into Chinese, but a lot of people like it.
And with us, what we do with the supplement industry, they go hand in hand together. You know, in fact, we're really praying that the use of Chinese medicine with the geranium root helps us get DMA back. So we shall see on that.
I hope
but
so.
I feel very flat. I'm definitely hooked for now. She says that the average person to really clean yourself all the way out takes a good 5 or 6 sessions. So I'm gonna do that. I wasn't sure how it was going to be when I went in today, but just watching what came out of me, I know I want to keep doing more. I'm going to do 6 sessions. You can do 2 a week, she said, so I'll probably just do it. And that's it.
Well, I weighed in at 118.8 this morning. I lost a lot of weight getting off of Anagenin and Recomp, but I'm curious to see how much weight I lose. Or if
I think
really
you're going to be the most interesting of everybody, that's for sure.
I've never done this before, and
I feel Salvi's going to be squirmy with that thing in her butt.
well.
Karen's here.
Hi, Karen.
I gave her the form.
You look so cute in your gown.
Thank you.
Is she adorable?
This is a cute room too.
Thank
Hi.
you. Hi, I'm Debbie.
I'm Karen.
Nice to meet you, Karen. So we're about to get started here with Salvi. And so you do not want to push during the session because you don't want to push the little speculum out, and it's not going to come out. You're going to be fine, but
Okay.
get your ass.
Grass massaging. She's a tushy tamer.
Can you explain what
Colon whisperer.
the lymphatic portion of this and what the
Okay.
lymphatic system does?
Yeah, so when I think of the colon, I think of it as a sewage system of your body, right? Then you have your lymphatic system that you can view it as the pipes that run through your body. You actually have more, like 75% of the fluids they say in your body are actually lymphatic fluids. So that means you have more than blood in your body. And that carries out all the metabolic waste, the dead cells, dead viruses, bacteria, parasites, all the crud in your body that your body metabolizes and needs to be released has to go into your lymphatic system, and it needs to work its way into your colon eventually to be released and dumped. Now, you don't have a heart that moves your lymphatic system the way you have one for your cardiovascular system to help move your blood, right? So it moves when you move, but most people who already have congested colon or sluggish colon, or most people actually are walking around with a sluggish lymphatic system.
Can I show them the sensors that you have?
Yeah, we can show.
Doesn't bother me.
So we have a special machine here that is actually helping to stimulate with special frequencies. It kind of looks like an E-stim unit, but it actually isn't. It will help put the body back into homeostasis. It also has a special frequency that's going to open up the cells of the body and allows the interstitial fluids that have accumulated to be released for the fresh fluids to come back in, okay? So I'm starting to put some more water back in you.
You think it's flatter?
Well, I'm not competing or anything, and I think so.
You feel better?
Yeah, well, I'm less stressed, that's for sure. It was a little weird seeing, like, your impacted shit and having everybody, including the guy that I sleep with, in the room. And then when you go to the bathroom, it's like you're literally shitting water. I was, like, very confused. I was like, I feel like I have to go to the bathroom, and this is water. And now I'm fine.
If they had a 6-hour session, would you stay here for 6 hours just doing this?
No, I
Okay.
feel like I could puke right now.
Oh, really?
That's my.
I just, not because I'm grossed out. I'm just feel like,
She said that can happen.
really?
Yeah. She can actually explain why that may
okay.
happen too. You feel nauseous?
Yeah, like a little bit, but not over the experience. Just like, I don't know why.
Yeah,
it's happening.
she mentioned that because I was talking about me being nauseous, and she thought I was speaking about like someone on the table being nauseous, and she was explaining it. But she'll explain it to you why you feel nauseous.
Okay, yeah, I felt that like a couple times, but I would like to be here for 6 hours. though.
Okay, because you seem like you're enjoying this.
No, I think it's a cool process because I've never done it.
Do you feel like?
And just to feel release, to
Yeah.
feel like you're getting all this gunk out of you.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that. You know?
Standing up is
All right. You feel better?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you
Good,
so
good.
much.
How's the overall experience for you, Karen?
A1, like A1, top notch. I would do
You
it
feel
again.
better now? Less bloated?
Yeah. Yeah, look at that.
Your
What?
tummy looks great. Amazing.
How do you feel? You good? You still awake? Eat.
Who
Okay.
needs to eat?
He's a
It's
zombie.
been a while. He was here since the early morning. Peace out. Bye.